Okay, so finally, S23 Ultra review. Now, all this year there's been one thing bothering Android: iPhones. Every time there has been a defeat in either cameras, performance, videos, battery life, you name it. But I think now S23 Ultra is the perfect Android phone we all deserve. And we also asked you guys for any final questions. Love you. There are so good questions. Shout out to Team TW. I've included them in the video natively. You can pause and read the entire question. And I have used the S23 Ultra for 90 days to give you a proper review with all the pros and cons, because I feel this S23 Ultra is going to be the phone to buy for the entire year. So if you like long-term reviews, like the video and subscribe to TechWiser and join Team TW. People say we make really good tech videos. Let's go. Now, ever since I have unboxed the phone, there are three things which really stood out to me. Like number one, this year S23 Ultra had the 200 megapixel camera, which is an upgrade from the last year's 108 megapixel camera in S22 Ultra. To be honest, the photos last year were also good, and this year I've seen that the skin tone looks more closer to natural. Like see this photo of our team, and again this photo of Mrinal. The skin looks close to natural and not yellowish. However, one thing I would like to get added, see if you're in normal camera mode, you have the option to go 2x. Now it crops the main camera, but since it is 200 megapixel camera, it still gives you sharper images even at 2x. But now if you go to portrait mode or portrait video, there's no 2x. And portraits at 2x come beautiful. Now this option can be added via software update, and I believe there's a huge camera update coming by the end of June or second half of 2023 on the S23 Ultra. So hopefully they add that. And the biggest feature in S23 Ultra this year I felt is the portrait video. You can do portrait video at 4K, and the edge detection, blur level, everything is really good. Like this video, the intro was shot on S23 Ultra. Even these Korea videos, this shot was at the airport, and it's very hard to tell that it's a phone footage and not some expensive camera. Also, one feature worth pointing out is, if you go in Instagram and open the camera, you can use the ultra wide angle, then again 3x, 10x camera. And even if you shoot videos from the Instagram app, the stabilization has gotten better. It's a very good feature, and this is something you get only on Samsung, iPhones and Google Pixel. Now of course, there is room for improvement here as well. And this was a very interesting question. Like S23 Ultra and the AI moon photography has been a controversy. So we turned off the internet, Wi-Fi, everything, and took the moon photo, and it still came out to be beautiful. Well, actually the entire program and AI modules are downloaded on the phone, so it doesn't use internet to download and make up these moon photos. These are just edited and highly corrected to make good moon shots. And you can know more about these products from the product tag below. Now, the second pro was quite unexpected. Like the S23 series are not generally a gaming phone, but this year S23 Ultra went with Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 made for Samsung. And I have played PUBG New State on this every day, half an hour for the last 2 months, and I didn't notice any app crash, overheating. And this would be the biggest achievement this year. Like usually we come outside to shoot, and like see here right now, it is 40 degrees in Delhi. Like for the effort overall. But the point here is, within 5 minutes of just shooting here outside, you can see the iPhone has dropped the brightness and you can barely see anything on the screen. Whereas on the S23 Ultra, the screen is still visible. So it doesn't decrease brightness when it kind of heats up. With the S23 Ultra, there has been least problems related to overheating. And I have tested a lot of flagship phones this year. And with the S23 Ultra, there has been the least problem in terms of overheating. The third thing that complements the performance is the battery life. And I use this phone on maximum 2K resolution, playing games, using camera, taking videos, and the phone still gives 6 to 7 hours of screen on time with about 15 to 20% battery left at the end of the day. So if you use it normally, the battery easily lasts 1.5 days, and honestly, I have forgotten charging the phone. I mean, that's the con with good battery life. And talking about forgetting things, I have also forgotten using the S Pen. Like initially I used it to sketch on Instagram stories or just make random sketches. But it was only when it was new. Sometimes when I have to use the object eraser to remove objects on the photo, I use the S Pen because at the edges, my fingers are too big. But overall, in this entire 90 days experience, I didn't use the S Pen much. And there are a few small things that you should know before you recommend someone or even buy the S23 Ultra. Number one, Samsung this year has reduced the curve on the display. Now for Shubhashish, it still looks premium. Like if you hold the phone like this, it still feels like you're holding all display in your hand. But the thing is, it is hard to find a tempered glass for this curved display. I got a scratch guard, and if you see closely, even that has slight bubbles at the edges. So yeah, if you're scared of falls, get a good case. I usually drop phones. And one small personal issue, it's a big phone. I didn't get used to the size in like 90 days, especially when you wear shorts or shorts for running, it's big. Another thing which I feel Samsung should include in their phones is PWM dimming. Like see here side by side in low light, the Samsung display flickers while you see Vivo X90 Pro has no flickering. Like every Chinese flagship phones from Redmi, Realme, Vivo has PWM dimming. This feature is good for the eyes and if you use your phones at night. And lastly, the haptic feedback. Like it's good. But I often missed calls because the vibration is not that strong. And I often miss calls when the phone is in my pocket. And if you're wondering, no, I don't like to keep my phone on general. It's like you get a call, phone rings, and everyone around you stares at you. Okay, so the final conclusion. See, if you have to buy a flagship, I would strongly recommend the S23 Ultra if you have the budget. Finally, an Android phone that I can recommend irrespective of Android or iOS. And to be honest, I had to find out cons for this review, but it's very hard to point out one particular thing and say, oh, this is a deal breaker. Now, people are also worried if the phone will have a price cut. Well, see, it might go into sale maybe during Big Billion Day or something like that. It happens with the iPhone as well. But what I would suggest, if you have a Samsung phone, go to the offline store. Samsung gives really good buyback plans and card discounts. You will get a much better deal than Amazon or Flipkart. Now, a very useful information, the Samsung S23 Ultra sells for 1,29,999, 1,30,000. But when we bought it offline, we exchanged our 5-year-old Note 9, which had the entire back glass broken. So we got about 16,000 on exchange. Plus, you can also pay 5,000 more and get the Galaxy Watch 4 Classic and Galaxy Buds 2. Don't get the S23 Plus, instead get the S23 Ultra. And if you don't have the budget, get the S23. It is the ideal compact phone this year and around 70,000 with offers and all, it is a very good buy. On that note, this is Pratik signing off. Let us know in the comments which phone should we do a long-term review of. We'll pick up the top rated comment and I'll see you in the next video. Pew, pew, pew.